This is TAC Talk, Teens Advancing Conversations.
Welcome to today's episode of TAC Talk. I'm Jaden.
And I'm Anayon. In today's episode, we have Logan Troutman, the owner of Storyline Legacy. Thank you for coming on to the show today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Could you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Logan Troutman. I'm a filmmaker out of Central Florida, of Storyline Legacy Film Company, and we do story-based content for businesses and educational institutions. And personally, I'm a family man, my wife and 2 kids, and I kind of live under a rock. Like if it's not work, I don't usually just go out. So if it's not work, hanging with the family, that's all I do. So.
Well, how did you get started into the video business?
Interesting question. So actually, I don't want to get too sad in here, right? But transparency. So I actually filmed my uncle's funeral. I had a camera at the time. I just started picking it up. It was around like 2015. And when I filmed his funeral, just wanted something just to document. And after I gave them the film, my family, I really got to see like the impact of it. You know what I mean? Just while they were just so appreciative of it. And I kind of just seen video outside of all the technical stuff is kind of like magic. Like it's crazy how you can like freeze time. Like it's just doesn't make sense to me. It still doesn't outside of all the technical stuff. So I really see that there was a need, and then it was a want for me to just help other people out and really capture some type of story, capsulize his moments for people. So that's how I got into it.
When you first started in photography, like what kind of photography did you first do before you branched out into other fields?
So interesting enough, with the photography aspect of things, 2010, I just brought a camera to one of our football camps and was just taking pictures candidly. That's how I really got into it. And then 2016, when I was in college, I took a film photography course. So I really got to realize, the importance of composition and going into a dark room and, just really getting the history of photography. And I think that's very important. I would definitely recommend doing something like that if you were to get into filmmaking or even photography seriously. Kind of do like the history, the background check, and put yourself through the paces.
Yeah, and how did you know, like, this is what I wanted to do? Like, was it always something you wanted to do? Did you transition into videography?
Good question. So I didn't know at first, but I told myself in my 20s, I'm going to just try everything. I gave myself actually 5 different occupations. Filmmaker was one of them, personal trainer, life coach, real estate agent, and teacher. And I kind of just went through the paces of all of them. And in all of that, I can say that I use a little bit of everything in what I do today. So filmmaking stuck, I got the most out of it. I felt more fulfilled when I did do it. So that's why I stuck to it.
So from those occupations, like what skills did you gain from those that now you incorporate in your photography or videography?
I would say active listening, and really just the customer service part of it. Just understanding that your personality is key to like everything you do, type of thing. Because if you're kind of a rocky person, it's going to be hard to work with, regardless of what you do. And we're in the service industry, and the things that we do in that field. So personal training really was something, just being goal oriented. Real estate, the study aspect of it, it never stops. The industry just keeps on revolving and such. The teaching aspect, once you really get on the teaching side of things, you actually get to learn more, and your passion grows when you get to teach other people things. That's kind of how really the relationship piece of the thing.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's any difficulties with trying to balance everything or talking to a lot of different people all the time and doing something all the time? Yeah,
there's a lot of difficulty in it. Great question, by the way. I run into it a lot, but it's just waking up every day and just realizing what you can and cannot do and being fine with it. I think the biggest thing is solitude, I would say. Spend some time alone to kind of figure yourself out, like get some inner work done. To where you can really realize, I can do things to this capacity, and if I don't, I'll be okay with it. It's life, life continues to go on. So going back to that relationship piece, really making sure that you're solid within yourself before you put out, and I would recommend that for any type of artist.
So one thing that I was wondering was, what do you see for the future of your video production company?
Good question. So eventually, I would love for Storyline Legacy Film Company to run on its own when it comes to taking care of businesses and educational institutions, while I go off and just make films full time. Feel good films, films that have just essence to it, just have some type of substance, a teaching point in those type of films. I've been writing. That was actually my first skill, was writing. Since I was 12, did poetry, do a little bit of spoken word here and there, but just writing, and I've been writing just short films and all that, feature-length films since then. So that's kind of been my thing. When I do get in solitude, I found out what exactly I want, need, and such. And going back to knowing what I was gonna do, I didn't know what I was gonna do at first, but I just had to allow myself the time to figure it out. And I would just strongly recommend that to everyone in here. Just allow yourself the time to fail, move forward, but just having your mind that you're gonna be successful, whatever you do.
And also, I think it's often forgotten that the other side of what you do is that you're also a business owner. You're not just a filmmaker, you also have something to run. So how does that play into your business?
Interesting enough, I actually love it. I actually love the business side of it because it's a challenge. It's extremely tough at times, but I like math. I like problem solving. So I really like the artistry side of it, like putting together just creative proposals for people and such like that. I like all that type of stuff. I like puzzles and stuff, but I really like the business side, and it's a challenge. I love challenges. It never stops with the stuff that you have to learn, and things change you gotta be aware of. So yeah, I really like the business stuff, which is interesting because sometimes it's kind of hard to separate the art and the business, but just finding a good median, because at the end of the day, this is what I do full time. I have a family, and people that depend on me. So just making sure I'm making the right moves and trusting it.
What would you be like your day-to-day as a videographer or photographer within your projects?
Absolutely. So that's a good question. With working with businesses, just kind of in the corporate space, more so that is a majority of my clients. I find it a challenge to really knock down the exterior wall of the corporate world. And as you can see, I don't fit the mold necessarily as somebody that would be in the corporate world. So I like that I can step into that world, throw on a blazer if I have to, but still being myself. And I know it's a hard territory to be in, because you would think that, you have to be just to the T on everything you do. But you will soon realize that people in the corporate world are humans as well. And I just kind of challenged myself to humanize the corporate world by story-based content. So I kind of found my avenue, so to speak, like things.
So, sorry, what were you gonna ask?
You can go.
Okay, I was gonna ask, what would you advise to somebody who is trying to pursue film or videography of any kind of sense? Yeah.
I would say, going back to that inner work, find what you like to do the most. I did start out in sports videography, but I realized, I actually like the story of things. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has a story to share, and I'm a sucker for stories. Like, origin stories, like where somebody comes from, to see who they are. Because a lot of times we come into somebody's life, you walk into just that chapter that they're currently on, but you don't know the rest of the book. And I really like unfolding their book. So
I love that analogy. And also, I was wondering, for high schoolers, a lot of times, especially for film, they say, like, don't go to college for film, go straight into the industry. Do you have any specific advice on that, or how you would go about that nowadays?
Absolutely. Look at your network. Like, I know as teens, you kind of think, I don't have a network, but you actually do, whether it's your high school, whether it's Thrive. I think really teaming up with a nonprofit is great experience. Just look around, because there's always problems to be solved in the city. Even within your friend groups, people are always having weddings and such like that. So there's always something to do. Just look at how you can step into it, and then make your investments in the right path, and don't be afraid to fail.
Does anyone else have any questions? Yeah. Does anyone? No one? Okay. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely.
To end today's episode, we'd like you to ask us each one of our own questions.
Cool. So it's interesting enough on the music side of things. Early on in my ages, I was only listening to one genre of music. Now, recently, I've expanded my horizon. So, if you guys were a rock band, what would be the name of your rock band? There's Green Day. There's just some funny names, but I was just scrolling down, like, these are some funny names. So, what would you name yourself?
I'm not really sure. For some reason, the first thing that came to my mind for some reason was Destiny. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you stealing from Destiny's Child?
No. It was just the first thing that came into my mind, but I don't know.
Destiny. Okay.
Yeah.
The first thing that came into my mind was Oranges and Bananas.
Oranges and Bananas.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's what I was thinking of.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So what kind of, would it be like hardcore, like screamo?
Oh, no.
No.
It'll be alternative.
Yeah.
Maybe some lo-fi, like
Yeah.
style of. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us again today, and thank you for tuning into TAC Talk. If you'd like to keep up with us on social media, you can follow us at Thrive Claremont on everything, or you can go to our website, thriveclaremont.org. Thank you again.
Cool.